What's up, Grace fans? We are talking things political tonight with Doc and Ice. We say goodbye to Sam Bello and what happened with Rebecca Froy. We've got some awesome news and gossip at the end of the segment, so don't click away.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, Grace fans? TGIT, you guys. I'm so happy to be here with my lovely ladies on my panel. Beautiful Dreamer Grey's Anatomy episode tonight. I really enjoyed it. We are a little bit behind you guys thanks to a little blackout here in Los Angeles. So forgive us for that. Everybody in the chat, we understand that you guys are getting to know each other a little bit.
Yes.
And we like that. Keep that conversation going. We are so excited to hear everybody's thoughts. I need to know your initial thoughts on the episode, you guys.
Yeah, I really liked this episode. I think I like how they always, like, Shonda's so good at tying in, like, real life situations that are going on with all her shows. But so I really like the whole DACA thing going on this episode. I thought that was really
Yeah.
It was good. It was emotional.
Yeah.
I got teary-eyed at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, so did I.
But it was good.
Yeah. By the way, I am Timothy Michael. I am joined by my two fabulous ladies. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Krista Flentje.
And I'm Tori Broussard.
Now that we got those pleasantries out of the way, let's dive into the episode. I kind of want to talk about Maggie and Jackson first, just to get their storyline out of the way. Because it
You
wasn't,
do, huh?
Yes. I know. Look, Tori, you're already starting with me. I can't, we're not starting tonight.
I think we should start.
Okay, let's start.
Ew.
What did you guys think about this whole Maggie and Jackson dispute, if you will?
Like, you guys, they just started doing their thing, and why are we already having these kind of, I don't know.
But
it's
I
like
wanna know-
either do it or don't do it.
Yes, but that's Maggie. Like, she's
That's
always
true.
going to
She's
overanalyze,
indecisive, yeah.
overthink, always put these ideas in her head. But what I really did like about Jackson was that he was persistent in, like, trying to
That's
figure out
true.
what the issue was, as far as, like, how long it was going to take for, you know, her
Yeah.
to start talking to him. And he didn't, like, just be like, okay, Maggie, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
he let her come around at
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I wanted to know
Yeah.
who you guys sided with throughout the
In
episode.
the...
Jackson.
You sided with Jackson?
Yes.
Okay.
I got Maggie's point, how she was, I think maybe Maggie, because she was just like, I wish you would have just told me.
Right.
Which is kind of, yeah, you should have told her that April kissed you.
I actually
Yeah.
surprisingly sided with Maggie as well in this episode, just because based off of everything she went through with Clive, and then going right into this relationship with Jackson literally the night of, I just thought it was interesting the points that she made of Jackson was easily able to lie to her and easily able to hide the facts from her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Tori.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I get your
and
point
yes.
with her being indecisive
However, I think the fact that she knew, I think, and he knew that she knew, or like discovered that she knew, I think he was waiting for her to kind of, I guess, maybe let her process that and digest it. Because
Okay.
I don't know, I feel like because of what she went through
Yeah.
with Clive, and then knowing the kind of person that she is, I don't know if I would have wanted him to just come and just state his plea right away.
Right.
And I
feel
feel
ya.
like he was just kind of like respecting those boundaries just because their relationship is new.
Yeah. It is, again, that's what I'm saying. It's a new relationship, so the whole time I'm just still trying to get used to it.
I don't think we're ever going to get used to this
Yeah.
relationship, you guys. I still don't like them together even after this episode.
Yeah.
And they seem to be going really strong. I don't see them.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna be they're in it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Tori, you called
Not
it. We
to
understand that
toot
you
my
called
horn
it.
or
Yes,
anything,
yes.
but-
We know. We know.
Okay, girl. We
I-
didn't disagree, we just didn't like it.
Yes, thank you. I like how they picked up right where they left off with Ollie and Richard, because I didn't know if they were going to wrap up her storyline. And I felt
Yeah,
like in this episode there were a lot of storylines wrapped up, which I enjoyed. What were your guys' thoughts on the Ollie and Richard?
I'm kind of glad they didn't drag it on
Yeah.
as much as they could have. I wanted her to be around longer, like we all did. You know, I didn't want to lose her. But also for Richard's sake, and it's just, they needed to kind of, you know, give it an ending. And I think it was, like, a nice way. But they didn't do enough. I feel like he was just like, I'm okay. But
Yeah.
I guess that's, yeah, I'd rather him be okay than not be okay. But it was really simple. It was just like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna be
liked the
okay.
simplicity because
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to be alone. And I feel like this episode for him was all about grieving.
Yeah.
And to see him finally
Yeah.
break down and cry at the end before he actually went and met Catherine,
Yeah.
it had just like a beautiful touch on it. And I was like, yes, this is the first time I won't say the first time, but the first time in a long time where we're really seeing Richard like deal with his emotions.
Yeah,
Yes.
like that moment with him on the bed with her in
Yes.
silence. That was a good
Yes.
moment for him.
Yes.
To have, yeah.
Yes,
I agree. It
he
was
needed that.
it was definitely a touching moment. I'm glad, like you said, that they didn't really drag it out. It was a nice bookend for her character and her relationship.
Yeah.
I think what I loved most about that was seeing Amelia, Maggie, and Meredith talk about it outside of the
That was
the
cute, yeah.
room because they each have a very separate relationship with Richard. Amelia is more of like the addict, and that's why
Right.
she responds
They're
to Richard.
a relatable
Right.
sense.
And then Meredith and Maggie both have like this daughter-father relationship with him, but it's obviously completely separate. But they all at the end of the day just want to make sure Richard's okay.
Yeah.
And I loved that moment with them. So we say goodbye to Ollie, which was very sad.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I definitely cheered up. It was
Yeah, it was.
sad.
It was.
Let's get into Carina and Arizona. Because
Okay.
I thought it was a little odd that they started off the episode with Arizona, Carina, DeLuca, and Bello.
Right.
And Arizona was like, let's go on a double date sometime. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's a little awkward. Like, didn't
Yeah.
DeLuca catch you guys like
Yeah.
mid-intercourse, if you will?
And then DeLuca lived with Arizona. For a
Yeah.
little- it was just like,
Yeah.
you have way too many relationships with 3 people you're going on a date with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously see why they intertwine that whole relationship with them.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the ice and the docket thing in a second. I want to talk about Arizona's case with Carina because I feel like their relationship is progressing
Yep.
and I really enjoy their relationship together, unlike Maggie and Jackson. So obviously you guys know that they're both on this case because Arizona is researching maternity mortality rates in the hospital. And I felt like Arizona was just very high strung this episode. She was worried about
Yes.
Lainey and her baby, and then all of a sudden there was this other case that was thrown in there. There was a lot of cases in this
Yeah,
episode.
she was
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
She was real busy.
What were your guys' thoughts on Arizona and Carina, and then how Arizona was handling everything in this episode?
Yeah. I mean, how Arizona was handling everything, at first I was like, you need to relax. Just, yeah, I get why she's doing it. I totally get it. She's like worried it's going to happen again. She's going to lose another patient. So as it was happening, I was like, relax, it's going to be okay. But then at the end, when she was like, I think we just like finished our project, I was like, oh, it was worth it. Your like craziness and stressing out actually led to a really good idea. And
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, go Arizona.
Yeah.
But like as far as the relationship between her and it's hard because I know Arizona's leaving, so like when they keep putting so much emphasis on this relationship, I'm like, why are you gonna do this to me?
I feel like we're just paranoid about it because I feel like everything they introduce
Yeah,
with Arizona, I'm
I
like, is
can't
this
think
why
of
she's
anything.
leaving? Is this
Yeah,
why?
I can't think of anything but how it relates to how she's leaving. It's driving me nuts.
Tori, I don't know if we
Yeah.
ever talked about this, but how do you feel about Arizona as a character in general? Because I feel like you don't really respond that much to her. I'm just
don't.
curious. I figured that's why I'm curious about it.
Not
I
too
mean,
sad.
I like Arizona. She's not my favorite character,
Yeah.
but she's definitely not
One of
the
your
worst
tops,
character
yeah. Right.
that like needs to leave. I'm sad to honestly see her go
Yeah.
because I feel like she's helped develop a lot of characters on the show. Obviously,
Yeah.
specifically April, and
Alex.
even Alex. Yeah. But I mean, this episode, I thought / was expecting her to kind of have like a breakdown. I thought this was when we were going to see her kind of like just lose her mind
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because
It looked like it was heading there.
right,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
But I think this just goes to show that however I said it, Arizona, is a level-headed doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's good at separating her emotions from her work, which
Yeah.
being a doctor, that's what you need to do. So I have a lot of respect for her. I also don't really think about her character that much.
Yeah.
So
I'm just like,
Well, no,
think we
I
all-
didn't know. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, but I can tell by your face. That's why I had
She's
to
like,
ask. 'Cause I was like,
Arizona.
all right. So let's get into the juiciest aspect of the entire show because it kind of tied all of our characters together because they all kind of were behind Sam in this instance. So this ICE agent shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
His name is Agent Martin.
Good catch.
Mark or Martin? I thought it was Martin Fields.
Ooh.
I put, hey guys in the chat.
Guys in the chat, let us
Yeah,
know.
you guys
Mark
catch
or
his name?
Martin?
We have a
I
little
put-
bit of a debate.
I think you might be right. Martin sounds familiar.
Yeah, it might be
Martin sounds more formal, doesn't it?
Anybody?
Well, whatever his name is, so he shows up out of the blue, and he needs to talk to one of the interns. Now, this is going to sound a little bad, Did anybody think it was going to be the young lady with the headscarf?
Yeah,
Yes,
I forgot her name.
Exactly what I thought.
It's Quadri.
Quadri. I knew it was the kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember it.
But yeah, and I don't know why. It's because I forget that Bella's from El Salvador.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just I forget,
exactly.
and I think they wanted us to assume that's who
Right.
they were here for because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
clearly in the headdress, and they wanted us, to play that card. And then when they were like, "No, we're here for Bello," I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
That
And
also
then
makes sense.
When Miranda and Meredith were like, which
one?
Did anyone else go like, there's
Duh,
only
it's
one
obvious she's
person?
coming down the
Right.
stairs. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but I guess at the same time, they don't want to assume anything.
True.
You never know.
Because they
Like,
were they're like, why would you be here for anyone? Like, they're
Right.
all surgical interns.
Yeah.
Like, they're good.
Yeah. What I found interesting about that entire situation was that it was so out of the blue, like I said. Like, I don't want to say that Grays threw this in there, but they kind of did.
Yeah.
It came
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of got a hint of it in the preview last episode, but I didn't think that they were going to go, like, full-blown, like, into it. I thought that it was going to have a different outcome, which we'll talk
Me
about.
too, but now that isn't Sam, we knew Sam was leaving her character.
Yes.
So
It
I guess
makes
this
sense.
makes sense. And we
Yeah.
should have, like, thought of it, but
Yeah.
it slipped my mind.
Yeah,
Like,
me
went
too.
right over my head.
I think what I loved about this was that everybody came to get behind Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey was obviously trying to hold him off.
Yeah.
I love that Amelia went to Owen to talk to Megan and like
how did I not think about that? Like,
Right?
That, yeah.
I don't even know why you would though, because the army and the military can't really
Yeah,
do
but and he
anything,
straight
right?
up said, like, no, that's not how that works.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, but just in the fact that like everybody's reaching out to anybody that
everybody,
they
yeah.
know to
Yeah.
help her out.
Yeah.
Like the whole process of them doing
Owen
it,
never
yeah,
crossed
I
my
never
mind,
I never
but-
thought about it.
Me neither. Yeah. So just in case anybody doesn't know, DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. There's actually 700,000 recipients in the United States as of today.
Okay,
Um,
dreamers.
Yes. Clearly, with the political environment that we're in right now, there has been some backlash on that entire program, which we will get into. What I liked about the whole situation with Bello was that it kind of put a strain on her and DeLuca's relationship right when they were trying to get, they were starting to get it off and they were starting to get it right. All of a sudden, this happens. Which was another reason why I was like, it's out of the blue, because I was like, oh, finally they're going to be fine and they're going to, like, we could just kind of forget about their characters. When we found out that the agent was there for Sam, was anybody hoping that she would get deported?
Well, dang.
I mean, I'm just saying, we haven't...
character.
I mean, her character, yes. I mean, I was just saying, because we never
No,
really...
I was ready. There could have been a different way. That's why I'm glad they ended it the way they did. That
Yeah.
she wasn't actually deported, Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I was so over that relation. I just feel like it was taken away from storylines.
I
Because
agree.
the back and forth with her and DeLuca, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Enough.
I don't necessarily think I was wishing that that's how her character.
No.
Maybe that was a little harsh.
I
It was
was
a little
ready
harsh.
for their relationship to
But
be
yeah,
over.
oh yeah, we've been ready for them
Yes.
to.
It didn't need to go that way, but
I think I would have just been content if one of them just called it off for good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she just was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave because I can't, handle
Yeah.
seeing you every day. Like
Yeah.
I would have
I-
been totally fine with that.
I did like, though, how it all tied into, like, a Yang name drop and her
Yeah.
going there. I really loved that.
That
I got
was-
goosebumps, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Mia reached out to the bestie, and the bestie came through.
Of course.
Yeah.
She
I
always
was
does.
just, like, saved the day.
Always.
Yeah.
So I liked, as far as it had to go, I'm glad they tied it up that way.
I
That
think-
was a sweet little moment.
I think what's fascinating, though, in this situation is that, and I know I sounded harsh saying deport Sam, but, like, in the 30 seconds that we were with, not even 30 seconds, in however many seconds we were with Richard and Ollie in this episode, I felt severely more connected with them
Yes.
Yeah.
than I have ever done with Sam, including in
I
this
agree.
episode.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of scene at the end with the taxi is usually something I'd cry on because I cry on everything. And it should have been sad, but I just was like, eh.
Yeah. I remember we looked at each other, we were like,
Yeah, I
okay,
literally looked at
bye.
him and I was like, oh,
Like,
okay.
I think it's because we wanted her to leave.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting in anticipation for that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it was like they both made sense. And she was like, you
Yeah.
know what? Our relationships never worked out. And I was like, yes. And
Yeah.
it's time to go.
Yeah.
Like, don't follow me. You need to stay, DeLuca. So,
I want to talk about Joe really quick because Joe had an integral part in kind of trying to save Bello as well, where she was like, go to this.
Loved that.
She had like some mafia knowledge. She was like, you need to go to New York with
God. This is
my guy.
$1,500. You need to go to Mikey, and he will get you a death certificate. I was like, damn, Jill, how you know?
Everyone's like, have you done this? She's like, it was Plan B.
Which I love when they bring stuff up like that
Yeah.
because like,
Joe's a badass.
Yes, she is.
At another level.
Like,
Right?
whoa.
Like, and I love that we got a little bit of backstory behind Sam as well, but I felt like it was just too little too late, you guys.
I know.
There was,
We were finally learning about her, and then it was like, time to go.
yeah, I was really impressed with, like, you know, she came here when she was really young. They moved to Florida because her dad got shot while
On
they went
his
inside.
front door.
Like,
yeah.
Jobs.
Like, all of this information you could have at least
That's-
dropped.
Isn't that our issue with these interns, is that we don't know anything about them, so it's like hard to get attached, or, you know, and then you finally get it, and then you're like, oh, well, bye.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I felt like this whole
Yeah.
Ice and DACA thing was so out of the blue. Like, if it was affecting one of our people, I say our people, but
Like, one of
our
the
interns,
OGs.
yes. Like Carina, for example.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
affected Carina, I would have been more like, whoa, what's happening? Like,
Yeah.
But because it was an intern, I'm not connected to any
Yeah,
of them.
I know.
It's sad, but I hope that the writers improve that.
Yeah.
And they don't just start picking them off one by one like they did the last interns. Just saying.
Bye.
Just saying. And it wouldn't be Grey's Anatomy without some kind of a twist. So Bailey is trying to like hold off this agent
Go
from
Bailey.
talking to Bella or taking her away or something like that. And she notices, because she is the amazing Miranda Bailey, that something is going on with his neck
Was
and
it
his
his
pulse.
Yeah, she
Right.
was like, "Are you?"
That-
Was he like sweating? He was like, "My stomach or your stomach,"
Yeah,
and he was
having
like,
stomach
"Always."
issues. Yeah.
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 How'd you notice that?
Right. It makes me think about Arizona when she caught the like awkwardness in Noah's laugh. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're just
Yeah.
so good at what they do that she'd know. I'd be like, "You just eating food?" And
Yeah.
I'd be like, "He's eating peanuts weird." I don't.
That's
she's
what I
like,
thought too. I was like, he's
stomach problems. I was like, he just looks like a weird eater.
he just looks like he just looks like a little bit overweight. and he
Yeah,
just looks
like
he's a
I
weird
think he
eater.
just likes his peanuts. And
Yeah.
she's like, "No, there's something else." And then he's all over there like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah. Well, also we forget Miranda just had a heart attack as well.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
Right.
Well, she caught
Watching.
her own heart attack. So,
so why not look at somebody across
amen,
golf back.
Miranda.
Yes.
You got it.
So what I wasn't expecting with this agent was that, okay, he has this crazy heart problem, which I wasn't expecting. I thought that he was
Right.
going to be a class 1 a-hole.
Yeah, me too.
Which he wasn't. There was actually, and this is one of the things that I love about Grey's and the writers, is that they kind of take you on this emotional journey with these people.
Yeah.
Because then toward the end of the episode, we kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He like opens up.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I loved that.
I liked that too. I liked this different kind of perspective on somebody in this situation. There's always two sides
Yeah.
to every
Because you
story.
want to hate them.
Right.
And then you hear, his story, and you're like, "Oh."
And they're like, you're not gonna hate this one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, I'm doing my job, and now I don't even know what my job is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Which is sad because I felt like this was based
It
off
is.
of facts.
Yeah.
Like this isn't
It's literally
fictional,
just-
you guys.
Yeah.
Like this is
Shonda
this is
always
happening.
does this.
Yep.
Yeah.
She did it. Oh, she does it all the time. Like, it's so relevant to anything that's going on, And I love it.
Yeah.
She's great.
I want to talk about the cases other than that. I want to talk about April and Matthew. Matthew comes in with Ruby, his daughter. And I wasn't expecting, they threw a lot in this episode.
There
You
was
guys,
a lot of people in it.
There was a lot of people, there were a lot of cases, there were a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
So forgive me if I'm all over the place. But I felt like with Matthew, so obviously Ruby has some kind of like she can't eat or she's not taking food. That was the whole issue. And he feels uncomfortable with Arizona being his doctor, which
Which understandable.
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
wife's
Yeah.
dead. She died in that hospital. That was her doctor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. Does anybody think that there's something going to happen with April and Matthew?
I mean,
Somebody in the chat said that
Yeah.
they're gonna get together or come back.
that's
They're
what a
gonna be
lot of
thing
people
again.
are thinking. Yeah. Someone just said she's totally leaving with him. F my L.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
I didn't think
mean,
about that.
I just like I don't know how you guys feel about Matthew and April now, but I like them together. They both have the same kind of mindset when it comes to religion and their spirituality.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But then what's going to make me mad is that they were together. They had that whole thing and she left him at the altar for
Yikes.
Jackson. So
Yeah.
it's how, I don't know. But I guess maybe it comes full circle. But for me, if I was Matthew, I'd be like,
But if you really love somebody, like,
and
I
you're
could
right, they are
totally
the same people.
Yeah, I could totally see him like wanting to give it a try again at least, if not taking her back.
It's hard for me to be like, that's really the way we're gonna let her go in a relationship that she like could have already been in from the beginning. But like, they're perfect for each other. Like they were, but yeah, it's just I'm like, is that really the storyline we're gonna give her?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Was that necessary to write her off that way? But
yeah.
Also, she still could have been a doctor and like remarried Matthew.
Yeah.
And like, so that's the only thing I'm having like issues with.
I think the issue that I'm having with is kind of what Tori brought up, is that you feel like Matthew is open to being back into a relationship with April, and I'm not getting that from him at all. I don't feel like he's in that mindset. He
like
literally just lost his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. No. I was saying, like, I could see him, like,
Eventually
if you really,
down the line,
I forgot what she said, but I feel like if he really loves her.
Which when she left, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, I could see them writing in the fact that, like, he at least wants to give it another try. Or just be friends, like, be able to talk. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I just want to take a step back to the whole Bello kind of situation was that everybody was trying to figure out why this ICE agent was there. We kind of forgot to touch on it. So it just so happened that Bello ran a red light one night, and that's exactly why the ICE agent was there for her.
Which made me so mad.
I know, and that's why I had to bring it up.
Especially Meredith's comment where she's like, I run those twice a month. They haven't deported me anywhere.
Twice a day for me.
I get them in the mail
like
all the
3 times
time. And I'm like, I'm still here. So that's just so, like, annoying.
Yeah.
And, like, it makes me really angry.
I was...
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was going to be something that insignificant.
Simple. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be something a little bit more complicated, but then at the same
like
time...
DUI, like anything, a red light.
Right. I was waiting for her to be like, when she started talking about her roommate, I was like, oh, what did you help your roommate with?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't good.
Did you bury a body? What happened?
Yeah.
And she's like, I just ran a red light. Worked some long hours. Someone beeped at me.
I mean, insane. Really quick, you guys, just a little word from our sponsors. If you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, for those who do, we've got a podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition, is hosted by our very own AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. From health and wellness to career, relationship, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister that you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free, and be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was her Grey's Anatomy panel that sent you to her, because we kind of get the credit, and we like the credit. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition, drops every Friday on iTunes, guys. Check it out. I don't know if you guys have listened to it.
I have. It's really good.
It is
so
really
I'd recommend
good.
it.
It is a must listen.
Especially if you need something to listen to on your way to work,
You
in
know,
your car,
if you're in LA on the 405.
and you're stuck in that hour-long traffic, yes, I agree. Or if you just want to listen to something really inspirational and
Take
a
it to the
feel-good
gym.
kind of podcast.
Do it, you know, whenever.
Yeah. So, podcast edition, Maria Menounos. Check it out, guys. So, I want to talk about Alex and that case really quick, because when I said earlier that there were a lot of closures today, Kimmy was one of them. So Kimmy wound up leaving. I am kind of relieved about that, because I'm like, let this girl live.
Yes.
You've been in this hospital for too long. Just go.
It was so sad.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
Alex gets so attached. And
Yeah.
it was just so, to watch him, he was just the hope leave his eyes. And he was like, no, where'd she go?
Yeah. Yeah.
And her little line at the end, tell him I was smiling when I left.
Yeah.
Do we think we're going to see Kimmy again?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like when she's either dying and they bring her in, or maybe she comes back and has regrets. But I feel like for Alex, there's going to be some twist where she comes back and it's like too late and it's her like final days or something. I just, Grace likes to twist and play with your emotions like that. So I don't know if she'll come back for like
That's
treatment,
why I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
That would just be too much.
It'll ruin Alex.
Today, I feel it's already ruined him, I feel like.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't even get to say goodbye. And I just feel like him, like, today we left on a good note. And I think, maybe not last week, or the week before, I said that, I wanted to see her fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, even though she chose to leave, she did fight. She
Yeah.
put up a good fight.
Yeah.
So
She did all
that's
she
all you can
could.
ask
I
for.
know.
Right.
I can see Shonda being like, or even before she gets to New York, something goes wrong and she gets like rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
For, it's just something. I hope it doesn't happen, but I think it will.
I hope it doesn't either. And
Yeah.
that just brings me to Alex and then Amelia. I'm a little curious as to why Amelia wasn't there when Kimmy was leaving.
Right.
Because she was kind of invested in Kimmy as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Amelia had this whole other thing that she's dealing with. So there's this doctor named Dr. Rebecca Freud
Mm-hmm.
who she needs to help her with the whole laser case in order to help Kimmy and other kids,
Yeah.
really. And as soon as she finds out that she is a since that Graceland is a Harper Avery hospital,
Mm-hmm.
she it's like a 180-degree turn. She's like, no, I can't help you guys, and continues to hang up on them, which I think is kind of rude, you guys.
But it was kind of funny in this episode.
Yeah, like
Well, I was just like, what's happening? Why is this such an issue
Yeah.
right now?
right,
Yeah.
obviously piqued all of our interest.
Yes.
Right.
What I wasn't expecting was for Jackson and Catherine to get involved. So Jackson takes it upon himself, because he is pretty much the owner of the hospital,
Right.
to waive whatever legal things that she signed, whatever they did, because apparently she dealt with his grandfather and he passed away. So Jackson is only thinking of what Amelia wants.
Exactly. That's why I didn't like it.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
was like, you didn't even you asked her, but you could tell obviously she, didn't give you a straight answer.
Well,
She
and
was
yeah,
beating
you
around the
don't
bush.
just
Right.
exactly.
And you didn't push
the
for a bigger answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I know. I
agree
just
with
feel
you.
like he should have, especially since it was like a legal situation.
Yeah.
Like you need to know what the repercussions are with the hospital. And,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he was just assuming it was something little, and his grandpa was kind of a jerk, and But you never know. How he's learned in the
Exactly.
past, like you don't take legal issue. You have to take them seriously.
Yes.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
Exactly. Like, why would you not
At
think
least
that it
ask
was
for
a
the
big
details.
deal?
Right.
Like, you could tell, like, the look on Rebecca's face that it was a major issue.
She
Not-
hung up before even
But not even Rebecca's face, like Catherine's face when he
Yeah.
brought it up, like,
Yeah.
oh, what's going on with that?
But
And she just kept
also,
kind of, like, brushing
Catherine,
it
you
off,
should
like,
have, you know your son and you know how
Agreed.
determined he is.
Right.
You should have been like, hey, don't mess with it anymore because you can ruin everything.
Agreed.
Or, if it's that big of an issue, you should have spoke up as soon as he started questioning it.
Yeah.
I just think that I'm just curious as to what
Yeah. What
happened.
it is.
Does anybody think it's like a sexual thing with the grandfather? Like the grandfather,
But it's like her,
like
the way
I don't know,
she
like
was
he
saying it
I don't know,
was
like
so
he
big.
inappropriately touched her or
So
something.
it could
or-
ruin the Harper Avery Foundation in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she was like, it could ruin all
It
of
has
us.
to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I don't know if it's sexual. I think
Okay.
it's bigger than that. But I can't quite put my finger
Right.
on what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like
Ooh, that's
that's
a
an
good point.
interesting.
Michaela said, my question is, why didn't the lawyers say anything when he was fixing this? Like, Avery's lawyers
Yes.
should know.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's true as well, but I feel like Avery probably went in there and he's like, I don't care, whatever it is, just fix it. Like, I want her here.
And when the boss is talking
Yeah.
to you, it's like you do what the boss is asking
Yeah.
you to do.
Right, but
yeah,
wouldn't
they
the
should have
lawyers
been, like-
know that, like, obviously Jackson doesn't know
Right.
what's behind.
There's a lot of
the
questions.
reason.
A lot of questions.
But that's another thing. I think that's why Tori and I are both mad, because it's like
Yeah.
Jackson didn't ask the questions
Yeah.
to his
Exactly.
mother, to
I agree,
Rebecca,
yeah.
to the lawyers, to nobody. He just
Right.
took it upon himself.
so now I
and-
have even more questions.
Right.
right.
Next week's better answer them
But
all.
this is typical Jackson. Thinking in the moment, attempting to get
solve
an
everyone's
answer.
problems.
And when he doesn't get what he wants the first time, he just takes it into his own hands and then makes a bigger issue than what needed to
Yeah,
be.
and it's
Agreed.
not like he was doing it to ruin the he was doing it because he wanted Amelia to have this doctor come. You know, he was just trying to solve one problem, and of course, typical
Yeah.
Jackson made a couple more.
Yeah.
Sounds like. So.
Tanya Murphy said sexual is too easy.
Right.
So, I literally have no idea what it would be.
I think it has to be something, like you said, bigger. I think it has to tarnish the entire
yeah,
hospital's
it's-
reputation, because I feel like because Meredith just won the Harper Avery,
Right.
and
She could
she
be an
fought so
Avery?
hard for it, that I feel like there would be like this whole potential of taking her Harper Avery away from Meredith.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
that would be
right.
like, whoa.
Right.
Like you fought so hard and you've lost it already once. Like
Yeah.
if she lost it again because of
That's
all
so
this
true.
like legal stuff.
Everyone in
can
the
see
chat
that
is
going
coming up
there.
with all kinds of ideas. So
Of course, that's why we love
interesting.
everybody in the chat because
Yeah,
they come
guys,
up with some
those are-
ideas.
Oh, I
really-
see what you said. Jazz41173 said she could be an Avery.
Like,
That,
and she
like-
signed away her legal rights and money and like her claim to like the legacy,
But
maybe.
how
But
would she be an Avery? Like
the
through
grandpa had
Yeah.
some sleazy hookups on
Which
the
then
side.
goes
Yeah.
back to like a sexual
The sexual
encounter.
thing, yeah.
So
That'd be something.
I mean,
The
I
way
mean,
she reacted, it's like I don't get how that affects the whole. I mean, because it tarnishes the reputation. But the way she reacted was like, I don't want anything to do with like.
right.
yeah.
But then
Avery's.
Catherine said Jackson ruined all of us.
yeah.
Which means it's got to be more than
Well,
sexual.
all their funding is through the Avery Foundation. So anything that tarnishes the Avery Foundation, like ruins funding for all
Yeah.
the projects.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, that's
so
right.
that could.
For all these cases that they're trying to help. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that, Krista. That's a good point. I didn't really like how Catherine brought up this entire thing with Richard, knowing that Richard is in such a vulnerable
Right?
place and a fragile place right
Like,
now.
I know you just lost your person. Sit down so I can tell you what's really going on.
We might lose everything else.
And
Like,
he's just
what's
like, she's all she had to hear was, "Are you okay? Yeah. Sit down. You were not about to be." And he's like, "Oh god."
Oh God. Yeah, I was like, come on, Catherine, at least be a little bit smarter than this. Especially
5
when,
minutes.
Right, especially when Maggie and Amelia and Meredith were all fighting for Catherine to be here because they thought that she would help.
She's just
and
piling
now,
it on.
Just piling it on, just making more problems than he already had in the beginning.
Catherine. Typical Catherine.
I wonder if they're going to bring in Bailey into it. I mean, she's the chief of the...
I'm sure
I
they
feel
will.
like
Everyone's
yeah,
going to
she
get
has to
involved.
be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all going to freak
Right.
out because they're projects.
I need to know what it is. And I love
Yeah.
the theories in the
Yes,
chat.
you guys are great.
I want to see what it is. I hope it's not something like they did with Matthew Morrison's character where we were like so anticipating it and then he was
And
on
then
for
it
2
was, like,
episodes and then he was like
nothing.
done.
Yeah.
I hope it's not something like that. I hope that it's something big enough
Yes.
to get us interested for more
I
than
think
2
it will
episodes.
be.
I think it will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's something that
hoping,
leads
but I
into
feel
the
like it will be.
finale. It ties in with that. I don't know how.
We've been
There's so
speculating.
many
That's like
It's
I
big
can
and
literally see the
complicated?
I
Yeah.
can see the spider web like right now.
It's just all
Can
like
you-
turning.
it's-
They're setting up so many different plot lines.
They are, especially in this episode, there were so many things going
Yeah.
on that I don't know where we're going to land.
This finale
neither.
is gonna be crazy.
I don't either. Well, before we get into our next segment, do you guys have any last thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I think we.
Anything?
I think we
You talk
did
about-
a good
is
job
there
covering
anything we missed?
I think we pretty much hit everything that we needed to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go into our cure and diagnosis episode. Who served a cure tonight? There goes our amazing music. So I want to go to. I think I want to go to Tori first because she seems to be ready with her favorite
Oh my
I
goodness.
am
line tonight.
ready.
Who served your cure, Tori?
Meredith Grey. So
Okay.
I'm cure this episode. When she said, "If you run, you're a criminal. If you're a criminal, you can't practice
That was mine.
medicine." Which is so true. And I think for the first time, we see Meredith giving like
That is a good one.
valid advice.
Yeah.
And then like even admitting to the fact that she said, I always drive the getaway car. And
Yeah.
I'm always one driving the
That's
getaway
true.
car. And
She
I'm telling you
is.
not to drive the getaway car.
That means don't do it.
drive the getaway
Yes.
car.
Yes, agreed.
agree.
I was here for it.
That was
I
a good.
had,
That was a good.
that was my main one. I think I did write down another one. It was, which we didn't really talk about, but like Joe and Alex,
Mm-hmm.
when Joe and Alex were talking at the end, and she was kind of like, I want to have your kids. I love the way you care
Oh.
for patients and stuff. But when she said, if it's okay, I'd really like to take your last name. I've never had the last name of anyone who's loved me.
I love
I was
that.
like, Alex, let her take your last name.
I love
right
that.
now.
I love that. And Joe is just one of those characters that has really
Yeah.
grown on me. Like, because of little things like that.
I
Yeah.
agree. In the beginning, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I really love her.
She's like a new
Yeah.
woman. I'm all
Yeah.
about the
She's
new Joe.
come into herself.
Yes.
She has.
And I've been waiting for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Me too.
So.
Agreed. I think my favorite line was actually from Joe as well. When she said, to Meredith, when you break them, according to the rules,
Yeah.
you're Meredith Grey, but when I break them, I get a write-up. I just thought that was funny because just based on what you said, Tori, Meredith gets away with a lot. Meredith
she
drives
does.
the
Hello,
getaway car.
Alzheimer's
Meredith,
trial.
Yes, exactly. But when everybody else does it, it's no.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Because there can only be one person driving the getaway car.
And it's
And it's
Yeah.
usually Meredith Grey.
Yes.
Hello, Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
When your name's on the title screen, you can do whatever you want. Awesome. So let's move into our worst line. So who diagnosed the disease? who would you guys give the worst line to? Tori seems to be ready. I guess I'm
think-
going to go to
yeah,
Tori.
I only have
So
one. So.
I said it was Catherine when she told Richard, Jackson ruined us.
Okay.
Because in my mind, you ruined them. Because
Oh.
you could have easily told Jackson in that very moment. You knew what he was digging into.
Yes.
And you still didn't say anything? No, he didn't ruin them. You ruined them.
I agree.
Mine
I
would,
agree.
yeah, I agree too. Mine would probably be, wait. Oh, when Meredith was talking about how they were, she was talking to Alex about what was happening to Bella.
Yes.
And she was just like, they're going to put a bag over her head and throw her in a van and then bring her over the border to El Salvador. And
And we
Alex
all
was
were like,
no. And Alex literally said what I was thinking. He's like, I don't think it works that way.
Like, you're a
So
doctor,
it was
Meredith.
more
You're
like funny,
you're a
but I was
little
like,
too
you're
smart.
a doctor.
Yeah.
You know that's not how that. I know she was just trying to get the point across, but I was like, no.
Yeah, that was really funny as well. My worst line was also from I
Catherine?
shared with Tori. Yeah, with Catherine. When at the end, like I said earlier, Richard just went through this entire thing
Yeah.
with
Right.
one of his best friends, and then you go into there, and then she's like, Jackson ruined us. He ruined all of us. It's so dramatic.
I agree.
So
unnecessary.
It's so
at the
unnecessary.
moment.
The timing is so off. Like, if you're the history with Richard, like you can easily just fall off the wagon, and you're just adding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I agree with Tori. I think that was one of the worst lines in the episode.
horrible.
Just badly timed.
Yeah. Before we go on, because
Yes,
I'm looking
please.
at this, Writing Melody said we forgot to talk about Owen's kid.
That's right.
Oh yes.
Oh gosh,
We're soon
I
to
forgot.
get it.
Thank you,
Yes.
Writing Melody, and we do have
Thank you.
a couple of seconds to talk about it. Apparently, he's gonna foster a kid.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Like
That's
what?
pretty much it.
I mean, about time, but also, Amelia might still be pregnant, so you about to have two.
Oh, you guys still think you're still on the
I
Amelia
still
thing?
think it might happen. That's my
Okay.
prediction that it's still there.
That would be a lot. Like, he's trying to foster a kid, Amelia's pregnant. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I think she's still pregnant.
Yeah.
I
Or
wish
if
you would
she
have
is
thrown up this
pregnant.
episode
but-
again for me to give me a little more reassurance.
Right.
You just want everybody to throw. You just want her to be bulimic, apparently.
No,
just
because
everybody
the
throw it out.
morning sickness. Okay.
That's why I don't think she's pregnant.
Right.
But
But
go
I
on,
feel
Tori.
like, I'm like, okay, it's about time. Like, I feel like I've been waiting for Owen to kind
Yeah.
of get to this moment. And for whatever reason, he
Like,
just
if no
didn't want
woman will
to.
do it for you, do it for yourself.
Right, but like I said in the beginning of the episode, I felt like they threw a lot into this episode.
Mm-hmm.
To throw Owen talking to this adoption agent and then wanting to foster to adopt a kid, I just felt like it was once again just on. It was just not timed. It was poorly timed. I just
Yeah,
felt like
they just threw it in at the end there.
right,
you
and
were
I was like,
oh.
wait, what? Like there was like no motivation from Owen
Right.
at all.
Yeah, was
Right.
it just
Nothing
working on
happened
that?
to him in this
Oh,
episode.
I think what might have been his motivation is when Matthew was like, "Thank you for like catching this," and he was like, "I didn't catch it. Kepner did. She's a mom." And she was like, she has a kid, and I think it was just like working with the kid, and I think it's Owen like ties in all those little things. And it was just
guess.
like
I
think this was-
it was really subtle,
It
and
was,
it wasn't worthy
agreed.
of him
Yeah.
being like revelation. I'm gonna adopt, but
Yes.
like maybe it was just him working with the baby and whatever.
I think this was like his last resort of
Yeah.
like, I need hope. I need something to love, someone to love
Yeah.
in this world. And when you have a kid, like, you know they're going to love you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see where it goes. I just felt like
Yeah.
it was just thrown in there. Let's get into some news and gossip because we've got some awesome
Yes.
news and gossip for you guys.
Okay, so
AfterBuzz TV News.
Woo. Okay, so first of all, Jesse Williams' estranged wife is asking for $27,000 more in child support, and she's saying it's to help cover childcare costs. So that's quite
Childcare costs?
That's
How much?
$27,000 a month.
That's
more than
$27,000
people make.
more.
Yeah,
Right, on top of what
of
she's
what she already
already
gets.
I
And what
wanna
she's
know what
already
she's
getting
already-
$75,000.
Goodbye.
So she wants $100,000 a month?
Yeah, and they have
Goodbye.
2 kids, so that's that. Jessica, it's insane to me that people get that much money for doing things. Okay, Jessica Capshaw had her last day of filming Tuesday. Sad.
Oh.
She tweeted that morning, 10 years of commuting to reflect upon in 35 minutes, which was also sad.
Well, we're all very excited to see how you leave the
Yes.
show, Jessica.
Yes. And then just as far as gossip goes, a lot of people are saying that April could end up with Matthew because of this episode. But Ellen also tweeted that they got the script for the finale, and she said, or she's like, they've been taping the finale, and she said it's devastating with a side of absurdity.
Oh,
so
no.
who knows what
Well-
that means? But she said it was classic Grays, so I'm thinking there might.
Am I supposed to
Be
say
a
thank
death?
you to
Yeah,
that?
there
There's-
might
yeah.
be a death.
Classic Classic Grey's is always death, you guys.
So we'll see. That's what I got.
Yeah. Since this episode was so DACA heavy, I wanted to kind of put in some news on that.
Yeah.
So apparently Grey's Anatomy's producers enlisted Define American, which is a consulting service and a not-for-profit organization dedicated to humanizing immigrants through media.
Sweet.
And they hosted Define American's entertainment media department for a writers' room meeting during the pre-production process of this episode.
That's awesome.
Right.
Wow.
And it included several undocumented Americans, including medical students and representatives from pre-health dreamers, for the writers to hear them firsthand. So they put a lot of research into this episode. This organization also assisted in fact-checking and giving critical feedback on the feasibility of the situations that undocumented characters might encounter. So this is
That's
what I love
crazy,
about the writers and
Yeah.
just Grey's Anatomy in general, is that they go in
rock.
with their research. Like, there was nothing in this episode that was
No
on
stone
fact.
left unturned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna talk about real issues, I would expect you,
Yeah,
to
I
like,
know.
do your research.
You do your
I agree.
background.
Yeah, especially with something that's political as this, and
Right.
especially that's something in the news literally
Yes.
almost every day
Yes.
right now. I agree.
Yes.
So kudos to the
Yes.
writers and kudos to the producers of Grey's Anatomy for doing that. Let's move into predictions, you guys, because we got some awesome predictions,
Woo.
I assume.
Oh my goodness.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I've been going to Tori a lot tonight.
You are. So does that
want me
mean
to
you should go
start?
to?
I'm going to go to
I already
Krista.
said mine before.
Yes.
I still think Amelia's pregnant.
Oh, you already blew up your prediction.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other prediction, my love?
It's that Amelia's pregnant.
Okay. What's going on with you,
Okay,
Tori?
so originally I said that I wanted Jackson and Maggie together. They're together, and I said they're gonna test the waters and they were gonna break up. But after like tonight's episode, I'm like, it might work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
it might last a while.
Okay.
So I'm like, was all in, and now I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Okay.
Yeah, they look
So-
like they're built to maybe last. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a while. I feel
Yeah,
like
like
they're
it's
really
gonna go
powering
past.
it.
Right,
for a
it's
bit,
gonna
yeah.
go past just testing the waters.
Agreed. I think we already touched on it with Matthew and April. I feel like they are going to get together.
In some
Especially
capacity,
since
yeah.
you're saying that since Maggie and Jackson
Yeah.
are going strong for a little
Yeah.
while, I feel like if it's not going to be Jackson and April, it's got to be April and Matthew. Because I
Yeah.
actually like Matthew for her.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I want to see them together. Did anybody pick up on that subtle cue with Carina and April? Like, I feel like they're going
Yeah.
to write off April as in, like, leaving to another country with Carina.
That's
But
what somebody
like,
said
what
in the
about
live chat, too.
Sophia? I can't see her doing that to Sophia.
Why not?
Just
She would
leaving
go
her?
with her.
No, I
No,
don't
because
think
she's in New York, with Callie.
But I
No,
don't.
Sophia's with Arizona right now.
Oh yeah, but
But
then
she was
they
just
switch back
visiting.
and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like joint
Oh.
custody.
I think Arizona was just trying to see like if there was something still there
Yeah.
with her. Like, are you gonna leave to another country? If she was
Or
like,
she's
yeah,
staying.
you know, like
Okay.
I'm interested.
But
and,
that
like,
could,
right.
it could be
you
something
never
with
know.
her.
But I
I
do
don't know.
agree that they might write her off, in which they do leave together.
Yeah.
Now out of the country, I don't know.
Maybe they
Yeah.
go to New
But-
York together.
Maybe. And then in terms of Rebecca Froy, I really do feel like just talking about it through this panel process, I do feel like because it is Grey's Anatomy and it also always centers around Meredith Grey, I feel like whatever's going on with Rebecca Froy is going to have a negative effect.
You know what? That'll
on
add to my
Meredith.
prediction. I think it is. It might be she's an Avery. I like that. I like who's so technically it wasn't my prediction, but I liked your prediction, and I'm gonna go with that.
Speaking of everybody in predictions, Tori, do you have any shout outs for us?
I do. Shout out to Olivia, who's in the live chat tonight, Tanya Murphy, Writing Melody, whose also name is Tori, and I think that's awesome as well. There's also TQ. I saw you a couple of times in there, and then, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Jesseline Garcia.
Okay.
There's so many of you guys.
are
Yeah.
amazing. You're great. Thank you so much for joining us and just sharing your opinions.
Yeah.
You're always on time.
Yes, we
Yes,
love that
we
you
love
guys.
you guys.
Yes, we
Thank
love that you
you.
guys are in the chat. We love interacting with you throughout the week. We love interacting with you here. If you do love us, which I'm sure you do, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, give us a cool comment. We love that. We live in LA, so we love having our egos stroked.
We like attention.
We do. We love attention. This is why we do it. No, we just love talking Grey's Anatomy, and we love that you guys love it. So thank you guys for being in the chat.
So much.
Any last thoughts before we wrap, you guys?
No, I think.
No.
No?
I'm excited, though, for like the rest
Yeah.
of the season.
Me
I
too.
am too.
I'm
Apparently,
pumped.
we have some weed cookies to look forward to next Thursday. So, TGIT, you guys, where can they find you all?
Yes.
Well, guys, I'm. Oh, you want to go first?
Oh,
You go first. He looked at me. Go first.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tori_Broussard.
And I'm Krista Flentje, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Krista Flentje.
I love you, ladies. I don't know what I would do without them. Elmarie will be back here next week. Yay. Hopefully we missed her in this panel. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. And TGIT, like I said, you guys, happy Thursday. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.